Okay, I'm working on making a stitching pony because why buy something when you've got all these scraps laying around you make it out of? So I've got some 1x4s here that, again, they were scraps. They came off of something. There's holes drilled in them. Got a little piece of 2x4. I got a, I don't know what that is. It's probably 1x4 that's been ripped. I don't know, 1x2, 1x3, something. Probably 1x3. But anyway, all this stuff. And I've got these cam clamps, which should make an improvement to the standard sort of stitching ponies that you get around. Some hinges, some other hardware, all of it just stuff I had laying around the shop. All I bought was the cam clamps. So, first step, I'm going to cut 2 of these 1x4s down to 16 inches long. Do that off camera. And I'm going to take this 1x3, I guess it is. 1x2, 1x3. Whatever, and I'm going to cut off a little bit off of each end of that, and that's going to help make my jaws for the stitching pony. Then I've got this piece. Then I've got this piece will be the base. The 2x4 will be what all puts it all together. This is a neat little thing that not sure everybody's aware of. It's a drill bit that also has a countersink attached to it, so you can just countersink screws in one step. Handy little tool to have. Now I'm going to take these, I'm going to sand them all smooth and round off the outside of it, and that's going to be my jaws for my stitching pony. Hey there, Pepper Dog, what are you doing? Okay, I'm sure somebody with a full woodworking shop that had a shaper or something could have done a cleaner job of that than I did with the sander, but I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. So, we're going to mark the center of this board. So it's going to be our main one. This is 22.5 inches long. So 11 1/4. As usual, 3.5. So 1 3/4. And to do that, I'm going to use a spade bit here to countersink that bolt in. At the 5/6. And we're going to drill a hole through this block. And that's going to be our upright piece. Now I could go over to the drill press and do this more precise, but not everybody has a drill press. I'm just going to go ahead and do it here. We'll be able to take this cam lock and have it loose enough that we can swivel everything around, and then just flip it over. And it locks down really good and tight. Alright, now we just need to attach the jaws. One of them is going to attach on stationary, going to stay put. The other one's going to be on a hinge. Just like the other pieces I put screws in, I'm going to want to countersink these holes. You want to pre-drill them anyway so that you don't split the wood. Might as well countersink them in so you don't have anything to hang up on. I made an obvious error, and I should have noticed it right away. My original plan was I was going to attach the hinge to this block so the whole thing could spin around, and that's why I put this in here, so I could spin it around. But then I attached it to the bottom. That was a dumb mistake. So I'm going to turn that around. Put those hinges up, put that hinge on differently, but otherwise. At least I noticed it before I tried to use it. Still in the shop working on it. So I real quick put a rounded off corner on the bottom of this. That's just to give some clearance to the hinge, to the base of it, so that when I put this together, it'll lay flat. You could just notch out a corner too. There we go. Done. We need to go ahead and put the thing on that's actually going to hold it all shut and hold it tight. And for that, I'm going to use another one of these clamps, but as you can see, this isn't quite long enough. Maybe once I got it countersinked, it'd be close, but if I have it open much for something wider, not going to work. So I'm going to use a piece of threaded rod that I also have laying around the shop. That's 5/16. And I'm just going to use the nut and the cam part and the washers off of this, rather than this flattened out end. Okay, I think of it as a toilet bolt, really, but anyway. Let's take those pieces. Let's throw on this extra washer and wing nut. And I'm going to put it fairly far down on here, so we got plenty of room. It doesn't need a lot of leverage. Alright, and then we're going to want to cut off. Alright, tossed it in a vise with some boards holding it so it doesn't tear up the threads. There we go. I need to open up the holes vertically a little bit with the drill bit. And then I got more range of motion with my jaws then. Alright. Just a little bit of putting it together. I'm going to put a wing nut on here to hold the one side, make it adjustable. I'm going to put a spring in the middle. I didn't have a good spring for this, so I kind of just sort of made something up. And then we're going to put our cam bolt on it. Now, the idea behind this is that I can adjust and get it close and then clamp it down. And then you just need to move your piece, you unclamp it. Maybe not even have to adjust it. Clamp it down. So, maybe not the prettiest, but it's definitely going to be a good one. Now all I have to do is glue some leather on these jaws to keep from marring what I'm working on. and maybe do some cleaning up and sanding and finishing, which I doubt I'll do, but that's all there really is to it. Let's go back to the house and put some leather on this and see how it works. Okay, now there's a kind of traditional way of using this for doing 2-needle saddle stitching. As you can see, I'm kind of already started here. I've got a piece of linen thread, 2 needles, and an awl, and I'm kind of juggling all 3 of them. But you can use this. You can punch your holes with the awl, and it holds the leather while you do that. Put 1 needle through. Put the other needle back through without piercing the thread. There we go. And go ahead and pull them both tight at the same time. And this functions as that extra hand to hold on to everything. While you pull those needles tight. And when you get to this corner and you need to loosen it all up, you just pop one of the cams open, turn it around, pop the cam back closed, and it locks it right back down. No fiddling with unscrewing bolts or anything like that to move your piece around. And I'm starting to remember my technique for this. Push the awl with your palm, have it between your fingers like this, and you just push with your palm. And then your thumb and forefinger are free to work with the needles. So all in all, that works just like I wanted it to. I can pop one cam loose and turn it around if I want. Especially when I'm lacing, I like to have it kind of angled so that I can, because you're always going from the same side, so I can see my holes better. But yeah, it pops loose. All you have to do to get it in place is if it's opened up wide, just move it in, hold it in until you get it just about closed up, but you know, plenty of easy room to move. Clamp it down with the cam, and it's stuck in there. So anytime